Hello, I'm Alice Atwanyo, and this is my literature review project on social presence and collaborative reasoning in asynchronous discussion boards. This literature review track is specific to online graduate programs as they run largely on text-based discussion boards, and my project asks what exactly turns posting into thinking together. Discussion boards carry on most of the interactive load for online programs, and they're often the only place students encounter their peers and are able to collaborate and reason together. The same prompt can produce shallow agreement or a genuine chain of reasoning, and quality correlates with satisfaction and perceived learning. Specifically, my research question is: what role does social presence play in the shift from surface level communication to deep collaborative reasoning in asynchronous discussion boards in online graduate learning? And I move on to the grounding in cognitive science. On what basis is this literature review track? This is a cognitive science question, not just an education question. 5 commitments ground the literature review. The argumentative theory says reasoning evolved for dialogue and works best under disagreement. For the distributed cognition theory, it treats the thread itself, that's the people plus persistent text, as the reasoning system. In terms of the cognitive load theory, it applies the constraint: relevant load builds schemas, extraneous load burns working memory. And in terms of internalization, it says that social argument becomes individual reasoning over time. For the SIP, social information processing, it explains how presence accumulates slowly in text-only media. Just briefly on the method, it was not a systematic review because the goal was conceptual integration across cognitive science, education, and communication. And I used the different sources, including Google and SEM. Just to note that I did not include K-12 and synchronous video only platforms. And when I did the optional project check-in, the focus changed from core eco topics to presence as the driver of reasoning. In terms of the findings, the first, separate traditions converge on interactions as the locus of reasoning. Real exchange beats parallel posting, and the thread behaves like a distributed computation. Secondly, the effect of presence is graded, not uniform. Richardson and Swan found an overall correlation with perceived learning of 0.68, 0.83 for discussions, and 0.80 for group projects, falling to zero point 0.4 for solitary reading. So this shows that presence converts to learning exactly where interaction is intense. In terms of the implication and the limitations, it shows the prompts for contestable claims all the way to grade integration, and not just only posting the counts. But it's also important to note that the limitations were that it was a narrative review, the evidence proximity, the framework is a hypothesis that's derived from asynchronous graduate boards, but also falsifiable predictions are presented in the paper as well. And in conclusion, it's the nature of social presence, not the amount, that moves discussion from surface acknowledgement to deep collaborative reasoning. And I look at it's seen through distributed cognition. The board is a cognitive system whose reasoning becomes internalized, and the asynchronous delay is a feature, not a bug. Thank you.